Okay, so we're going to go through any questions, comments, or whatever on the Spooky2 Rife machine, questions that you may have. Usually we take questions from people in our group. Our group is small today, so I don't know how many questions we have. I haven't hooked my other computer up to the internet because we don't want it to update. And so I don't have that option to do screenshots of the software, but I might be able to pull the camera over there and see if anybody has any specific things and they want to see the operation of the software and that type of thing.
So I have a question on scalar. Have you done any study on the scalar?
I haven't done, I am in the Spooky2 Academy, and I'm just at that point of learning about the scalar machine. So I don't have a lot of information about that one yet because I don't have one of my own that I have been experimenting with, unlike the other generators. So I don't know.
Well, it's based on the longitudinal waves. It's a totally different machine. You get two boxes and you connect them, and then you have to sit in between the boxes.
So yeah, I might be able to do screenshots and put them on a jump drive to show you. I might be able to do that.
Yeah, if we need to, right? If we need to, you can do that, right? It depends on who has what kind of question. So in the scalar, this is, I think it is the same as ESS system, the energy enhancement system.
I'm not familiar. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. So.
Oh, ESS, it's very powerful. There's a interview by Jason Shirka of Unified. Do you know about this site, Unified? It's an amazing thing, amazing system, and there are several centers all over the country where you can go and you just sit in it. That's it. You do nothing. And then what it does is it goes into each of the cells of the body. This is based on the quantum principle. So the energy goes into each of the cells of the body and raises its energy level of each of the cells. Most time when we have a problem in the body, the energy level is lower. So it just raises it. And whatever ailment you have starts disappearing. That's what it's supposed to do. So scalar is on the same principle, that machine. Of course, a much smaller machine than the ESS system. ESS is much more expensive and much bigger. So it'll be, and I've seen there was a training video by one of the experts for Spooky2, and he explained it and he said this, and that's his profession as well, as part of his profession. And many people have been healed. I mean, he has healed many people using the scalar system.
Yes.
And it's amazing. See, the scalar waves have no speed limit. So all the other energy, light has the highest speed, it's limited, 186,000 miles per second. But scalar waves have no speed limit. And you cannot stop it, right? The electromagnetic waves, EM wave, can be stopped by a metallic shield. But for scalar wave, there's no shield. They'll keep going.
Now, I know they have with the scalar system, you cannot do remote treatments with that one. You have to be within the two generators.
Yeah, because there's a scalar wave propagating between the two.
Right.
And you have to, your body has to be exposed to that scalar wave. So there's no concept of remote or contact.
Right.
You just expose it to that radiation. That's all you have to do.
And so I know there's people who have set their beds between the two.
Exactly. So
the two genders.
Yeah.
So they're sleeping, and it will work on them while they're sleeping. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you do in the other ESS as well. You can buy a small cube and just put in your bedroom, And when you're sleeping, you just get radiated with that energy. So I have this other question. So I have been a bit more active than some of the other people in our group who have bought this.
Yes.
On the RISE system. And I have run a multiple programs of different kinds. So one thing that I've noticed, when I run the program, I get swelling on my feet, especially my left foot. Whenever I started, a day or so later, it just starts swelling up. Now, it could be a coincidence or it could be something else.
What kind of programs are you typically running?
So I'm running programs for prostate, for lower back pain, for eyes, for teeth. There's many different programs.
Are you running any detox programs or liver clearing programs concurrently or alongside those programs? Because sometimes what happens is that when you do those healing things, you're also releasing a lot of stuff into the body that your body has to clear out. So sometimes that will tax the liver, or if you're not doing a detox program that helps to release all of that stuff, it can get pooled in the tissues. So you may need to run some kind of detox maintenance program. They have the detox maintenance program that's in there that you can use, or you can run liver support programs, liver and kidney support programs in there. Detox maintenance is kind of like your go-to all over source thing for dealing with any type of Herxheimer reaction from killing off bacterias and viruses and that type of stuff, or any kind of toxins or whatever that you're releasing from even, you typically don't get those so much with the healing programs, but if you are doing other programs for that type of stuff, you are releasing some things into the system. So running a regular detox maintenance or occasionally running every few months running the terrain program again will help to keep your adrenal system, your waste system, your liver and kidneys and all of that functioning optimally to be able to clear out all the stuff that you release as you're treating different things in the body.
Well, I've run terrain program at least twice.
Okay.
I can run it again. But you said the liver and kidney maintenance programs that can help?
You can do liver and kidney detox if you go into the programs settings in there and just type in liver or type in kidneys, and it will give you a list of different things that you could do. And in there is a list of some programs that say liver and kidney detox or liver, kidney, and lymph detox. Lymph is also a good one to clear out.
Right.
So, and that's, that's one of the things that you kind of want to regularly do. I know there's like we do the PITA to clear that stuff out of your system, but something like a lymph cleansing program or lymph detox program, or even doing your own kind of lymph massage to be able to clean out the blockages along that so that it could flow through the body and be released is always a good idea also.
Now, could it be that I'm running the programs for much longer time than I should? Maybe I should just do one cycle or 2 or 3 maximum cycles. All that doesn't say in the description of the program.
Yeah. And so, they say that you can run them 24/7, but I always recommend to people that you really pay attention to what kind of symptoms you may be getting while those programs are running, because it could quite literally be that you are doing it too much. And also it may be at too high of a power. Like I'm working on something for someone who has back pain and their adrenals are very, very low. And so they can't handle that higher power, and they can only handle the program for like one run through once a day. So, so I'm running the adrenal support programs as well as stuff for the back pain, but I have to run the adrenal support ones at like half voltage. So you can go into the control panel, and up in the upper left-hand corner, it has the information about the output that these programs are giving. And when you create a program, you can go into the control panel. So you have the shell, you go into the shell presets on the home page, and you click on the shell preset that you want for healing or killing or whatever. Then you go to the programs tab and you type in what you want to put in there. And then you go over to the settings tab, and the settings tab in the upper left-hand corner of your screen will be all of the output for those programs. It's usually, I think, like 10 volts or something in there. You can drop that down to 5. You can cut it in half. You can adjust those things. You can adjust the harmonics and the wavelengths and all of that type of stuff. Do you want to do that before you save that program? So you can save it, and then you can name it like remote adrenal half power or something like that. So you know that it isn't at the full power that you have. And then you can use that also and adjust your programs to be less powerful if you're finding that you're not having the reaction that you want to get, or you're getting too strong of a reaction. You want to run it longer and, at a lower power. There's a lot of options for setting up your programs to be what you need them to be. But I think in your case, you might be running them too long. Your body may not actually need that for as long as you're running it.
So how would you figure out that I'm running it at too high a power or running it too long?
All of that is trial and error. It really is. It's from my experience. You have to try something. If you're not getting the result that you want, you typically give it days to a week, if it doesn't seem to be doing what you want it to do, or you're getting a negative response. If you're getting a negative response, then you want to change it earlier.
Yeah, because I haven't seen any benefit from any of the programs that I've run
so far. Okay.
Yeah, so, and I keep wondering, what is wrong? It cannot be that bad, right? But
right.
But the program is doing something, because I get the swelling, and I know it is from the program.
Right. So you can look at it two ways. You can look at it that perhaps your body doesn't need that frequency, but usually if your body doesn't need that frequency, you won't get any response.
It should be benign.
It should be benign. It shouldn't have even a negative response.
Exactly.
So my suggestion is that maybe it's too powerful for what you need, or you really are cleaning out a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned out. But you could also adjust the program, adjust the duration of time that you run the program to find something that works for that.
So how do I set the duration of the program? Where is that in the settings again?
You can set, when you create the program, you can set the program to be able to continuously loop until you stop it, or you can set it up to stop after one run through. And there's a way to, on the control tab, when you start the program, there's a way to schedule the time. And I think it might actually be in settings. There's a way to schedule it to run from, and again, I think it's when you set up the program, you can schedule it to run from, 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and it will run that much, and then it'll stop, and then it'll stay on pause until it comes around to 9 a.m. the next day, and then it will run during those things. So you can set it that way. I think there is a way for you to set up how many times you want it to go through on the control panel, but I haven't messed with that enough to know definitively how to set that up. I do know that you can program the time and the duration in the settings when you make the program itself, if you don't want it to run continuously when you set it up.
Can I ask a silly question?
Sure.
Shri, what are you trying to cure?
Well, so different things. So I was looking at the prostate. I have a prostate problem. There's a lower back pain. Of course, the eyesight is weak and the teeth are weak. So I'm trying to, so different things. So, and there are programs for each one of them. Actually, there are many, many programs for each one of them. And when I was sick, then again, I ran the program and it didn't do anything. And I was sick for almost 2 weeks, I think.
Huh. Okay, well then, yeah. So here is the thing that I make a comment about is Spooky2 is great if you know what you're going after.
Right.
So I know you're saying you're having prostate problems and you're saying your teeth are loose and your back pain, but do you think maybe they're not, because you're setting it for prostate and back pain and all that, but maybe those are symptoms of something else? And so there's nothing for the Spooky2 to work on.
Well, that could be, but the Spooky2, the programs are written for prostate. It says very
Agreed,
clearly,
but
yeah.
that's assuming that there actually is a prostate problem. My point is maybe your prostate is messed up because of something else.
It's the challenge with the Spooky2 is finding the precise frequencies that your body wants and your body needs. And you're correct. There are so many programs that you have to pin down. In the case like when Daryl had pneumonia, got a form of pneumonia, a co-infection after COVID. We had to track down, it was a specific type of pneumonia, and there is like dozens and dozens of pneumonia programs. And I was running those and it wasn't having the effect that I wanted it to have. And so we had to have someone actually douse, essentially, muscle test or whatever using, now we used the Avatar bioresonance machine and someone who actually knows how to run that machine, track down the specific type of bacteria that was causing his pneumonia. And then after that, track down the specific programs that would work against that, work for him. It wasn't just for that particular bacteria. It was for Daryl with that specific bacteria. And it worked out to be 3 or 4 different programs that were set up. And I put that in a healing shell. And then within 24 hours, his coughing was gone. And and then a few more days and it had completely cleared up. So it was quite miraculous how fast it worked. But we had to go through all those steps to find the specific programs and the specific frequencies that worked for him. So my thing would be, I think you might be running, you may have some programs in there that work quite well with you, but then there's others that aren't working and they're kind of canceling each other out. So I don't know if you have anybody who does any kind of muscle testing or any kind of dowsing that might help you. You can write out all of the programs for prostates, and then have them douse each and every program, and then they'll tell you, no, I don't think this one's going to work for you. Yes, this one might work for you. No, let's not do this one.
Well, and this was, I think, about 3 months ago or something. And that is one of the problems that I thought that I have probably dowsed it. So I did some learning on dowsing myself. So I made my own pendulum and I went through studies and videos. In fact, I joined the American Society of Dowsers as well. And because I got sick, I couldn't go to their conference, but I wanted to go to their conference in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And they were going to have a workshop of 3 days just on dowsing for
Right.
novices, for beginners. So I used this dowsing, and I could, like in the COVID or the when I had the flu, and there was a bunch of programs, and I doused each one of them, and it just said one or two of them, it said yes. Otherwise, it said no for me.
Okay.
So and I
Yeah.
tried those, it didn't work. Then I said, let me try all the other programs. So, but didn't seem to work. I mean, I
Okay.
did other things that finally worked, I think.
Okay.
Now you have the XM generator, just the single generator,
Yeah,
correct?
it's a single, yeah.
Have you tried contact with that? Or is
I did
it
not do contact. That's the only thing I have not done is contact.
When
when
we
it
did it for me, it was contact because the contact is stronger.
Okay, so when you got better, Darrell, then it was all contact, right?
I did the contact. The remote is, I've personally, I have
Mhm.
noticed the remote, it might hold things at bay, but it doesn't really improve anything. But the contact for me has always helped. And what's
Oh.
the one that you do, Louise, where you just let it decide what to run on you? Bioresonance,
biofeedback? Well,
biofeedback.
with the XM generator, trying to run a biofeedback program on that is
Tricky, right?
problematic. It's difficult, and it
Oh,
can
okay.
last for more than an hour. And I have not had much success trying to do the biofeedback on the XM generator, the little blue one. Now, if you were to get the Generator X, the 2-port Gen Pro, those you can do biofeedback on in like as little as 12 minutes. And those have been particularly helpful, and that will break down the specific, you put the contact pads on. I think it's you put it on either side of your abdomen, or you can do it across the body, where you do it from like hand to the inside of your foot, I think, or it's a shoulder to the inside of your foot.
You just don't cross the heart.
You just don't want to cross the heart. So when you put on those contact pads, and it will just go through and it will find the top 10 frequencies that you need for your body. And then you just put it in, you put all those frequencies in, you save them in a shell thing, and then you just run those frequencies. And then after you've run those frequencies, you do the biofeedback again, and then you run those frequencies. You keep doing it basically until the biofeedback comes back with no frequencies that your body needs. And that can quite literally take months if you got a lot of stuff going on. But the contact, especially when you are dealing with something like an active infection for, flu or whatever, it's acute, you have that, the contact is better, either using the contact pads or the hands, the handhelds or whatever, to at least try to do one contact treatment each day. Highly recommend that you do more than that, 2 to 3 each day contact for an acute infection like that. And then in the times that you're not doing the contact, you run the remote consistently, 24/7. You shut for you, since you only have one port, you would run the contact for however long the program is, 1 to 2 hours, whatever. And then shut it off, put the remote back on, run that during the time that you're not doing the contact, and then you can do the contact again. For things like cancer or Lyme disease, they recommend, if you are only using like the Gen Pro or the XN generators or whatever, that you do include some kind of contact treatment, because it will have a greater, faster effect than the remote alone. They've done the studies with the Petri dishes with active, cultures in there. They'll isolate them and they'll run one on contact hooked up to the contact, and they will run them on the remote. The remote still works, but it's about 3 to 4 times faster with the contact. So it still does the job. It's still, it's still helpful. But when you're talking about something like that, you would want to use contact programs as well. So if you haven't tried any of the contact programs for for low back pain, or the prostate or whatever, like with low back pain, you would put the contact pads on either side of the spine where the pain is, so that the frequencies will run across each other over the area of pain, and run those as a contact program for the pain in that area. Prostate, there's different things to do. They don't recommend that you try to use those contact things, in there, but there are things in the forums that talk about how you can use contact for prostate issues as well.
So I
But
will
yeah.
take these tense pads and for the lower back pain, and put
Yes.
2 of the tense pads on, let's say, 2 sides of the spine.
Right.
And just, well, so the contact program tend to be different from the remote program, right? So
They're different from remote programs. So you will have to use a contact shell. So when you go on that home page where they have all of the stuff, and then user is down at the bottom in that panel on the left-hand side, just above user will be shell empty presets. So you click on that one, and then it will have the different folders for laser, remote, contact. And so you would click on contact and then choose your contact thing and make a program just like you would for the remote. But this time you want to save it as a contact program. So for me, I put for all my remote programs, I just start them with the letter R and then underscore, and then I give it a name. So contact, I just look capital letter C and then underscore, and then whatever the program name is that I want to give it. Laser,
I could use a
L.
preset. I could use a preset as well, right?
Yes, exactly. You can.
Yeah, then I don't have to save anything in any of the shells.
Right. You could go into the contact one and find on the home page and type in back pain, type in,
Yeah, to show all the
prostate,
stuff, right?
and
Yeah.
it should show you the ones that are already pre-made and ready to go.
Yeah.
So there should be ones that are in there for you to do.
Yeah, there are a bunch of them. Yes. Yeah. So I'll try the contact. Maybe that's the thing that I'm missing. And I think Daryl points it out because he didn't see any benefit with the remote as much as he did with the contact.
Right.
So maybe that's how I need to start with, and then remote would probably help after that.
Yeah, the reason why I believe, and this is my opinion, is based on what Louise said. I think the stuff that it's trying to kill off, it's working on it, but it's working so slow that it's just building itself back up. Like I said, it's maintaining it.
Right.
Whereas when you're on contact, it's overwhelming it enough that it can't keep up.
Right. It doesn't build up anymore, right? So
Correct.
it just keeps dying or withering away or whatever, right? So
Yeah, so you do, the only thing is that you do need to make sure that when you go to, if it isn't on the home page where you're doing the search on the home page, those are all the preset programs. But if you actually go to the programs or presets tab, I think it's the presets tab. If you go to the presets tabs, those presets will need to be put into a shell in order for them to work.
no, I thought the other way around. The presets you don't have to put in the shell, is the programs you have to put
The
in the
programs
shell.
you have to put, I'm not looking at the thing, but yes, there's the
Yeah,
tabs
it's the other way
across
around.
there's the
Yeah.
tabs across the top. And if you're in the home page and you're doing a search, those are all ready to go. But if you go over to the next tab over and you do a
programs,
search
yeah.
there and the programs, then you have to put them into a shell. So there was a question that somebody had in the chat about a biofeedback question, talking about if you have multiple things going on, how does it choose which frequency to use? So my understanding is that it will choose basically the best and highest frequency, that is the thing that is showing up as the ones that are needed the most at that time. So it's like the most glaring problem that you have, whichever frequency is it goes through, and it's kind of a little like sonar, is that it will send signals through the body, and when it gets a hit, it goes, okay, you need that frequency. So I don't know if it's just like but it picks the top 10 frequencies. So I'm thinking that it is those frequencies that are needed the most at that time, because they'll go through all of those frequencies. I don't think it's the first, it may be the first 10 frequencies that come up. But my understanding is that it's the top frequencies that are needed. And it doesn't really mix and match those frequencies. It picks specific frequencies that have come up, and it will run those top 10 frequencies. And you can run that biofeedback program 24/7 on remote. You can run those frequencies on contact if you want to, because you will be saving that biofeedback frequencies, and you can run those. And after you have run those, and then however long, if you want to make 2 programs and say, okay, I did a biofeedback scan on myself and it came up with these frequencies. So I'm going to set it into a contact shell. And I'm also going to set those frequencies into a remote shell. So then you go turn around after you've done the 12, 14 minute, whatever biofeedback scan that you did. You put those in a remote and a contact shell. You run the contact, and then you turn around and you run it remote for 24 hours, say. You could run it for an entire week if you want to. Then the next day, you take another biofeedback scan, and it will give you those frequencies. Now you can look at the ones and see if they have different frequencies there, to see if it's adjusted the frequencies. Usually it does, because after it is done, it's killing of whatever thing that you need, or healing of that type of thing. It will move on to the next set of frequencies that you need.
For
I know.
quick visual aid, I just put a link to the user's guide. Just download that really quick and then open it, and then you can share your screen with that. You can share that item, and then it has images of the software down in it.
Oh, you mean for me to show it on the
Yes.
on the screen?
So that way you can show what you're talking about.
I think I have the user's guide on, but
If you already have it, then open it up and then just share the user's guide. So when it goes to share screen, just choose the user's guide.
So let me see.
Then you can kind of walk us through what you're talking about.
Yeah. But I'm following what Louise is saying, because I've used the system enough to.
But I'm thinking about anybody who watches this afterwards, right?
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll see if we can get that up. So let me find the biofeedback page so that we can get those in there.
Well, do you have the user guide up? If you do,
I have the user.
that.
I know. Hang on a second. Let me just get to the correct page, so I'm not like zooming through. So let me go ahead and share the screen here, if I can find the.
And then you should be able to find that app and then just share it.
Okay, so can everyone see?
Yes,
Coming up. There it is. Yes, now we see things. Okay.
So here in the when you do a generator X biofeedback scan, it talks about, these things. This right here is what you need to pay attention to, is the scan results page. So you notice it has a certain number of frequencies right here, and you can go ahead and hit that floppy disk button up at the top in order to save these frequencies as a biofeedback scan. Now you save them as a biofeedback scan first. It talks about, let's see, they have.
Well, what I'm at, can you scroll back up and go to the main page and show how to get there?
To get to
this. So go back up to where it shows the home page.
Oh. the,
where it shows the starting page. It was like,
well, this is how to do the, okay, so we can,
How do you
these
get to
are,
this page? How do you find this
yeah,
page?
see,
think
so
that's
I
what
have,
Doug
I
asked
have on page 27 is launch the Spooky2, right? And it kind of shows the whole, there you go. You,
Okay.
at least you got the cover, right?
okay, so yeah, this is kind of goes step by step by the time
I
you
know,
get to.
but as long as you can see that, then you
Okay.
say, okay, go to this tab and click that
Okay,
button.
yeah, so these are the tabs that are on here. So when we talk about the home page, this is the presets page that is in here. Now notice it has a biofeedback section that is in there. They have cancer, DNA, detox, environmental, frequency sweeps, all of this in here. The biofeedback button in here, I think that's where it saves the biofeedback programs. I may be mistaken. It may still be down in user, and I have my own biofeedback folder. But these all have different programs that are in them. And so when you go, and then you have the programs tab where you search for different programs that have the frequencies, the settings that if you want to make the adjustments, like I told you, Shri, to voltage and all of that type of thing. And if you want to set a time, would be in the settings. The control panel is the one that actually runs the generators, and you will see the generators there. So I know you mentioned that, but this is, so they have programs. I don't know if we want to go through all of these.
You won't, don't worry.
Yeah.
about it. Just work your way down till back again. So how did you get to the bio? So in the
Okay, so
biofeedback, how did you get there?
It's on page 57, and that's what I was looking at.
No,
So
I mean, how did you get that window to show up?
how do you get the biofeedback window to show up?
Yes.
Oh, that's this plasma mode. I don't know. Maybe I was on the wrong page. Okay. The thing in the control panel, when you go to the control panel, I wonder if they have a picture of the control panel here. When you go to the control panel, let's see if I can find it. When you go, if there's a picture of the control panel, then that would be the way to go. Because on the control panel is a button for a biofeedback scan that you will click on the control panel.
Is it a control panel or the home page?
The home page has biofeedback on there. You know what? I wish I had the thing. I
Okay,
have it
so
on.
go to page 31.
So page, I was like, I don't want to scroll through while I'm sharing the
I'm
page. 'Cause then
searching.
you're searching. Good. So page 31. Okay, here we go. So this is the control panel. This is where you see your generators 3, 4, and 5. So for me, these generators, I would have an XM generator, which is 3, and then my generator X, which is 4 and 5. And so those are the generators that they see there. And so down here at the bottom is a button that says scan. So when you hook up to do a biofeedback
Wiggle your mouse
scan,
some so we can find it.
I'm trying to see, it's like,
Perfect.
it's like sort of right there, but it ends up, so it says scan down in kind of the middle right.
Oh,
at
yeah,
the bottom.
I see it. Yes.
You see it down there. So when you are hooked up, you don't have to do anything in particular up here. You just hit that scan button, and then that window pops up with the biofeedback.
So now go to your window again.
And now go to the window again, if I can remember which page it was on.
51.
57, I thought.
57. Thank you. I knew it was in the
57,
50s.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know this is really confusing without having the software on there.
You know what? If I'd have known we were going to do this, I'll set up another computer with the software on it so that you could.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
stuff.
Okay, it wasn't
Yeah.
57 because I'm on the wrong pages.
59.
Oh, 59. Thank you. I was like, what am I looking at?
Steve's looking at it too.
Steve and I is looking at it too. Okay, so it says right there, when you go, see it says scan, analyze plus baseline. And so this is for baseline before biofeedback. You don't really have to do a baseline, and they don't recommend it anymore. So you hit scan and it brings up these scan results, and then you would do a save. and save those biofeedback scans. That's if I'm remembering correctly now, because it's been a little while since I've done a biofeedback scan. When you do a save of the biofeedback scan, it saves it underneath that biofeedback folder. And then you go into that biofeedback folder, find the scan that you want, and you can plug it into any empty shell to run it, to run those frequencies. So it acts like a program that you would connect, that you would put into a shell preset, like you would find under the programs tab.
Now, can he do this with the XM generator?
It is difficult to do a scan on the XM generator because the way the XM generator runs its biofeedback scan is, I believe it's analog. It goes by heartbeat, and so it'll send the frequencies into the body, and that will adjust your heartbeat and your heart rate. But it measures minimal, the tiniest little fluctuations in your heartbeat. But anything like you moving around or coughing or any of that type of stuff will affect that scan. So it makes the scan longer. And sometimes some people have had the problem where they'll sit there for an hour and a half and it will never complete the scan because so many things keep interrupting the heartbeat. Whereas when you do the scan through the Generator X, it uses frequency pulses through the body. Again, like I said, kind of along the lines of sonar, and that it flashes it through your body, and it gets, and when it gets a hit, it finds what frequencies are needed by those different reactions in the body, so that it measures it that way, and it measures it super fast. It can go through so many frequencies by just micro pulses through the body to figure out which frequencies the body needs, as opposed to just focused on the heartbeat and heart rate changes. So that is why the XM generator biofeedback scan is not as reliable and as usable as the Generator X Pro is for those type of scans. And after having used both, it is so much more efficient and reliable using the Gen X Pro for the biofeedback scans.
So as you're reading this results display, the first number that is shown is the frequency. The second number that is shown would be the signal strength. So it shows the relationship or the relative need that your body has for each one of those frequencies.
Yes.
So you'd just be using that first number.
They set up all of the, you can unclick those check marks in there so that you only have that one frequency that you save. It saves all the top 10 that come up, even though, like, say 41123.12, the top one that's on there is maybe one that you need more. You can make the choice, say, hey, I just want to run this one frequency in a contact program.
Hang on, I want to clarify something. Steve, are you asking by column or row? You said
By
first.
row.
Okay, so
The first, by column, those are the frequencies. The first number is the frequency.
and the second number is the power, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it says percentage.
Right.
Yes. So then you're asking how to only use one of them by row?
No, but, well, I suppose you could, instead of having it run all 10 of them.
Yes. You could do that. Usually what you do is you set it, it will go into a loop, so it'll run these frequencies. You can set how long they run those frequencies too when you also create the program on there. You can set it up in the settings page. It can run each program from, you can run them a minute long each, 3 minutes long. There's a whole range that you could do, or you can just have them cycle through them all super fast and just, keep going through, or hold the frequencies longer. If you don't want any of those frequencies when you save it. You uncheck the boxes of the ones that you do not want, and then you can go and save just the frequencies that you want, or you can keep all 10 and run those.
Now, you cannot do a biofeedback remote, correct?
No, you can do biofeed. You can run these frequencies in remote also.
No, do the biofeedback.
Oh, no, you cannot make do a biofeedback scan with the remote. You have to be connected with
Okay,
contact.
that's what I wanted to be sure of. I just wanted to clarify that.
So, and there are people who are like, I don't really know what's wrong with me, you know, and I just run biofeedback scans, you know, once every 3 days, once every week, you know, and I just been doing that for 6 months, and lo and behold, I start feeling better. So obviously something's working. So they will do that. As with anything, they highly recommend that everyone run what is known as the terrain program. And you've run the terrain program on yourself, Shri.
A couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, the terrain program is set up to prime the body to react to the healing frequencies better. It tries to clear out as much as the toxins in the body as possible. It is an 11-day program that you run on the remote. You can run the programs, set it up and run the terrain programs on contact, but they are designed to run on remote 24/7. So you would be stretching that out. You would have to, someone has it set up for somewhere in the forums or one of the Facebook pages where you can run those frequencies. They're usually like 3 to 4 hours long. And then next day you do that, but it stretches that 11 days to like,
It's a long one.
It's a long, if it's several months, you know, or a couple of months. So it is not really recommended. But by using the remote 11-day program, it will try to eliminate as many of the heavy metals out of your body as possible, eliminate environmental toxins out of your body, and limit parasites. You can set up, I will go to they have the terrain protocol, which is on page 43. So let's go to page 43. So the terrain protocol is under the home button and is detox and then remote, and you load the terrain preset. And the terrain presets, I think the next page will show you. No, that's just remote mode. Anyway, they don't have all of it says this preset will run nonstop and then repeat. You can manually stop it after 11 days have passed. So you keep track of how long that is. And just like it says, if you find the terrain protocol too intense, perhaps start with running detox maintenance. And that's that detox program that I was talking to you about, Shri, that is in there. And you can run that. If you have the Pro, you can run the terrain program on one remote and run the detox maintenance on the other remote, and help you to reduce the intensity as it's cleaning out this stuff. Some people have really strong reactions. I'm one of those people. And so I had to start with, the terrain power has quarter power that you can start with. Now I started with half power, but a quarter power terrain program, and then half power and the 3/4, then to go up to the full amount. If you are having a strong reaction to that type of thing, people have reactions similar to having the flu, you know, sweating, sometimes fever, sometimes, you know, headaches, that type of thing. If you're getting that strong of a reaction, then they suggest that you either run the detox maintenance, and if that isn't taking care of it, then you run the quarter or half power terrain program on yourself first.
Yeah, so I'll try probably half power as well. But first I'll try the contact mode, not terrain, but maybe lower back or one of those programs.
Right.
And see how it goes. Because contact, you should be able to see the effect very quickly, right? Even in just one loop.
In one loop, yeah. We've had situations where we've treated people on contact for stomach pain, and then we've had a cessation of or lowering of the pain within 10, 15 minutes of running the program that we've had set on there.
Right.
So
So it's pretty dramatic, right?
it's
effect.
fairly, yeah, it's fairly strong with those.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the pain programs. Now, sometimes like I'm treating somebody now who who has shingles pain. Now, that's a different type of pain than say muscle, bone, or sinew type of pain. That one's more neuralgia and nerve type of pain where the nerves have been damaged by the shingles virus. So that kind of pain takes longer to deal with. That kind of zinging nerve pain, I haven't had as fast a reaction even with the contact on that one.
But it does help, right?
It does help. Yes, it does help, but it's not as dramatic, I would say, as some of the other pain that we have helped. There is the, you know what, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. So
there's a special cables for the contact, right? And where do you connect it?
it's a split cable. You connect it into the boost. You connect it into the high power port of the boost. And
Okay.
you can also, if the tingling, sometimes you'll get, a feeling through the contact one. And if you are feeling that it's too much, you can always reconnect it to the low power port to do it that way, which is an immediate shift of the power.
We just take it out and put it in the other port, right? Just take it out.
Take it out and put it into the low power port, and then it will,
Pause the run.
Yeah, you do want to
Pause
pause
the
the run.
program,
I don't know. I mean, you probably could just whip it out of there and stick it in the other one and it'll just start working, but you don't want to damage your equipment. And so pause it and then put it into the low power port and you can, you could do that. But usually people don't have too much of an issue with the contact causing discomfort to the point where you want to take it off there. And usually if you have that kind of discomfort from the get-go, it means that the pads are not connecting with the skin. There's too much air or something in between there. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to, if you can always wash that area and then dry it off and then put the pad back on, but you do not want to put water on there and stick it on there while it's wet. It's not like some of the other like FSM machines, you can put the pads on there with some water and that's that microcurrent and it's okay. With this one, I wouldn't suggest having, it being wet when you put the contacts on.
Okay. Well, these are some good pointers I need to try and see what works, because it has to work. I mean, there's so many testimonials that the machine works.
Right. And
the physics are there.
Yeah, and the physics is there as well.
I still just say it's either a combination of the fact that you didn't use the contact, or, and this is probably where I'm thinking, is you're not really working on the right thing.
Could be. That could be. Yeah.
But try the contacts and see how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And it's just, and like with anything, there is so much out there for, treatment options, and it's just another tool in your toolbox. And if you find that it's not working, then, you can try different things within that mode, like the Rife machine or whatever, but maybe the Scalar is something that would work better for you. There's, they also have something called the Heaway, which is, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's HEAWEA, I think, but it is a portable device that's a little like an FSM machine, the frequency specific microcurrent that you can use, and people carry those around all the time to deal with things like pain, because while the frequencies are running, the pain is gone, but the pain, but they'll find that the pain has come back because either it's a chronic problem that is going to take a long time to correct, or it is, you know, it is being caused, the pain is being caused by something that they don't know what it is, and they just want that relief from the pain. So it may not necessarily cure the pain, but it is a way for them to get that pain relief without taking medication. And
Right.
it's very, very, you know, and it's been very helpful. But I've talked to people online who have said that they've even used those portable ones, that over time, that and using the Rife machine has cured them of infections and all of this other type of stuff. I've seen people who swear by the plasma coil and the, you know, the the Spooky Central and the scalar machines. You know, then there's people that will go all out and get all of the stuff. And then some of them would just keep plinking away on the, you know, they buy 2, 3, 4 of the smaller generators, the XM generators, and they use those. And because they're like, I don't really need the biofeedback, and I don't particularly want the portable aspect of the Gen X Pro. So I'm just going to use a whole bunch of the XM generators and plug them all in and run those, because the software will hold up to like 99 generators or something. It'll take a ton of generators. You can have them on
Well, there's a guy in Mexico, and this is his main profession, and people come to get healed in his center. He has over 100 machines.
Right.
He's just grown over 100 machines, and he keeps them busy all day.
Yeah.
So look at the number of people that show up.
And so, you know, the challenge that we have as individual users is that we have to do all the legwork to find out what works and what doesn't work. And sometimes, especially if you're not feeling good, that's hard.
Yeah.
To go through it. If it were set up in a situation, I would love to see medical facilities have this type of thing where they sit there and they, you know, have a diagnostic machine that says, okay, these programs will work for you, plug you in, sit you down, you know, take care of it and say, okay, see you next week. You know?
Exactly.
It would be great, you know, but we're having to kind of stumble through it on our own as best we can.
Yeah, of course. Okay, very good. I think we have completed an hour. Thank you so much, Louise. Let me stop the recording.